Hey YouTube, Zuki1 here. Gonna do a little video on some racks I built for my Klr 650. But before I do that, I want to give a big thanks to all my subscribers. I think maybe 2 months ago, I hit the 1,000 subscriber mark, and I really want to say thank you to you guys. You guys are awesome. I really appreciate the views. I appreciate the comments, the constructive criticism. I really do appreciate it. I enjoy being a part of the YouTube community. I think it's a great resource for people that like to do pretty much anything. I mean, if you need info on something, I mean, YouTube's a great resource for sharing ideas, for sharing your adventures, and for meeting other people that are like-minded. Anyways, thank you. So, having said that, this is my new adventure. This is a Kawasaki Klr 650. You might have seen my other 2 vids that I did, 2 trips that I took on this thing, and I kind of want to implement it into my channel. But to do that, I'm going to need a little more luggage space than my backpack provides. So I went ahead and made some pannier racks, or some hard case luggage racks, whatever you want to call them, and I just do a little walkthrough and show you guys what I built. So let's check them out. Now basically what I wanted was something really beefy that you know, could be used to, you know, help protect a motorcycle and support quite a bit of weight if needed. So I didn't really like the real lightweight ones that I saw for sale, and I didn't have the money for the heavy duty ones, so I thought, what the heck, I'll try building my own. And this is how they turned out. I used 3/4 by 3/4 1/8" wall square tubing, and basically just kind of roughed them out where I thought they should be and welded them together. And this is basically what I ended up with. Now the trickiest part of this was basically starting. I mean, I built quite a bit of stuff for my trucks, and it's a little easier because you got a square frame to pull measurements off of. But on a motorcycle, it was a little more challenging for me because, you know, there's so many contours, and it was really hard to get the first one lined up. And the second one was even more of a pain in the butt because I was trying to match this one, make sure they weren't set and cockeyed. But anyways, turned out pretty good, I think. Now basically what I've seen, other racks, they bolt to this point here, and they bolt to this point here, which is where the turn signal normally sets. But I wasn't really too crazy about that because that's just a rubber grommet with 2 bolts in it. So I kind of went ahead and came up with my own design here, kind of hybrid. This is basically a two pistol case, or double pistol case, and pretty much just a box to throw on here. I do ride this to work, use it as a commuting vehicle, so it's kind of handy to have that, throw my lunch in and stuff like that. But basically what I did was I got rid of the plastic top rack, and I just substituted that for a frame made out of square tube, and I used the existing bolt holes in the grab handles here. So I was able to bolt in the original position, and then these here go into the subframe. Just a piece of angle welded there, and that's welded to this cross brace here. And what that allowed me to do was bring these tubes down to hang the pannier bracket off of. And I'm pretty happy with it. I think it'll work pretty good. You know, I kind of tried to space these, you know, relatively equal to, you know, the center line of this, so this thing would be nice and sturdy. I didn't have to worry about vibration or the box getting tweaked when I dump it. Then basically just threw this bar out here and ran these, replaced the bolts with a little bit longer bolts into the bracket that holds the passenger peg, and that is still usable. So I didn't really encroach on the passenger's foot space should I ever need to carry a passenger. And one of the most important things that I wanted to make sure this thing was able to do was come apart relatively easily. So these bars here, instead of just welding them to this, which was kind of my first thought, I went ahead and bolted them. And these tubes are actually welded to a piece of 1x1 by 1/8 inch angle, and I've got 3 bolts there with lock nuts on them. So if I need to do some maintenance on this, basically pull these 3 bolts out, pull these 2 bolts out, and each side will come off on its own. So if you need access to the bike, but you don't need to take the both sides off, that was something I kind of wanted to incorporate into the design. And also, I want to make sure that I can get this fairing off without having to take the rack off. Now this fairing sticks out farther than the other side because, obviously we got the exhaust here, and there is just enough room. I tried to keep these tucked in, as far as I could, but I left enough room to where I can get this fairing off, and there's just enough room to get a ratchet in there and pull this bolt off. So that worked out pretty well. And then we've got the crossbar here. Basically a piece of angle welded with a bolt going down there, and that just keeps you stable side to side, or if you do fall on one side, hopefully it'll help support the other side. Now this side was a little tricky because I wanted to keep the same spacing as the side with the exhaust, so I pushed it out basically to the same equal distance out on both sides. That way the bike wouldn't be unbalanced if I had a heavy load hanging out here in a box. So basically the same thing over here, but because the exhaust isn't here, we've got a lot of room for this. And again, the passenger peg's still usable. And hopefully these will help protect the bike, when I do lay it over, which I fully expect to do. I've already done it once. Not too proud to admit it. It was muddy. In my own defense, it was muddy, and I am not an experienced rider, so I was kind of testing myself on some roads here close to my house. Went ahead and got that one out of the way. Everything was okay. Basically just bent the brake lever here. Doing about 15 miles an hour. Rookie mistake, I guess. Tried to change lines in the middle of a bit of a mud hole. Didn't work out. So anyways, now from the back it looks like they stick out quite a bit, but from the front, not so bad. Alright guys, so there you go. Those are my homemade KLR 650 Pannier Racks and my $12 top box, which actually works out pretty good. Not completely waterproof. If it was really wet, there is no gasket in this, but the upper lid portion does overlap the lower, so we'll keep a fair amount of water out, until I find something better that I can afford. So there you go, guys. Those are my homemade pannier racks. Tell me what you think. I know they're a little beefy, but I've got about 40 bucks wrapped up into that, so saved quite a bit of money. It did take me quite a bit of time to build them, but a lot of that was kind of design time, so there you go. Alright guys, appreciate it. Stay safe, have fun. See you next time.